Okay, welcome back to another video about using AutoHotkey, using an auto clicker, how to get your computer to start doing things for you, how to make it so that your game can play itself, how to click with reckless abandon. So, this is a game called Leaf Blower Revolution, which you might not really understand right now because I have all of the leaves and everything turned off. But I swear there are leaves. I can turn the graphics back on, and you can see the leaves going just about everywhere. But that's not important. That's not why we're here. We're here to talk about AutoHotkey, about the auto clicker, about what it is that I'm doing with this auto clicker to maximize my leaf blowing experience. Well, let me tell you. Right now I have a script that I call Boss Killer. And what Boss Killer does is a couple of different things. And we'll go over all of them in some detail here. But I'm going to fire off the script and just describe what's happening. And if you take a look, if you can zoom in far enough, you can see that as I press the button, Alt Z, to begin auto clicking, you can see the small tooltip there that says hanging out in Vilewood. Now we're going to see when heading to Lone Tree, hanging out in Lone Tree. Now here, heading to Spark Bubble, hanging out in Spark Bubble. The tooltip command is telling me what my script is doing as it's doing it. So now it tells me that it's scrolling down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's actually a loop. We'll go over that in a second here. Now we're going to teleport to the Blue Terror. You probably missed it, but it switches from a cursed witch set to a damage set before it does those teleports. And now we're hanging out in the first favorite, which here happens to be the Leaf Tower. And now we are seed bagging. And what this is essentially just a small loop that is clicking on the strange seed bag 400 times so that I don't have to. And as I'm talking here, I just want to make it very clear, I'm literally not interacting with the computer at all. I'm simply talking to you while the computer is doing all of this for me. Now, there are some automated ways that you can utilize this game. However, you can spam buttons like the strange seed bag here by clicking on it much, much faster than the auto facts, which is the automatic usage of artifacts feature inside of the game will allow you to do. So we'll go ahead and let this run real quick through its 400th cycle. And right after its 400th cycle, what it's going to do is it's going to switch over and it's going to open an epic chest. If I still have epic chests left to open. I believe that. No, I think it's legendary chests right now that it's going to try and click on. Oh, and actually the number 400 there, you can see it's exceeding 400 because that number is actually hard-coded, and due to my poor programming skills, I forgot to update that. And I'm pretty sure I can probably just do the maximum of the index loop. Up there you can see that it clicked the epic chest. All right, so keep in mind here that it's going to go and keep clicking up through 400. I'm going to now press a button on the keyboard. I'm going to press my period key, which in the game is bound to a hotkey, and we'll see on the right-hand side what are a list of boss spawn timers. Now, the important thing to note about the list of boss spawn timers here is that these bosses will spawn on a timer. And what I'm doing by automating this procedure is essentially there's no way to, while offline, while you log out, to kill these timer bosses. And because that is not a feature of the game inherently, what I decided to do was to create my own routine that will essentially go through and kill all of these timer bosses so that I can collect the cards. You can see there I just collected an uncommon Tower Frog card. It says that down in the lower left. But you can collect cards in the game now. And that's another reason why I wrote this script, which we'll get into in just a minute here. You can see again, we're exceeding 400 because the actual count is 500 here. And on the right-hand side, what I'd like you to notice is that all of the bosses have basically finished spawning in now. And if we hit 500 here, that should trigger, I believe, our loop is going to start over again. So we're at the bridge and we've killed the bridge boss. We've gone to Vilewood. We've killed the Vilewood boss. We've gone to the Lone Tree. We have killed the air elemental. Spark Bubble, say goodnight. Now we're going to switch to our witch set. We're going to visit the witch. We're going to kill the witch. We're going to collect the witch essence. Now we're going to scroll all the way down. We're going to go and we're going to visit the blue terror, dead blue terror. Now we're going to visit the green terror, dead green terror. And we're going to scroll back up. We're going to go back to our first favorite, the leaf tower. Now we're going to open back up the artifact panel. Oh wait, sorry, epic chest time. Then we're going to open the artifact panel and we're going to spam on the seed bags. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Alt Escape. And you can see that Alt Escape has paused the script. I'm going to press Shift Escape now to completely abandon it. Shift Escape has completely abandoned the script. And now I'm going to go ahead and bring over the script into the screen. So this text editor here is called Sublime 3, and I'm going to use this just to give you a good idea of what's happening. It highlights the syntax. This is not going to be part of the native text editing environment, but maybe I'll go over this in a future video. The main thing is right now is that we can go over what the script is doing. Okay, so Shift Z here was my previous attempt at this script. You can see here what we're doing is we're going to select the damage set. We're going to press P. We're going to teleport to the bridge. We're going to sleep and click and sleep and click. We're going to send the escape key. We're going to sleep. Now we're going to teleport to Vilewood. Sleep, click, send input, escape. And this works, okay? So this does work. It will go to these boss areas. It will switch my sets for my crafted leaves. It will kill the bosses and go back to the first favorite in the list. And it does so one time. You can see that because there is no loop here. We just Shift Z, it goes to the bottom and then it returns and it waits again for more input. Now Alt Z, this is the modified and most recent version of Boss Killer. And what Boss Killer does here is that it first initiates an endless loop. So loop and then the bracket, and then we start diving into some functions. Here we equip leaf set P, then we teleport to the bridge, then we teleport to Vilewood, then we teleport to Lone Tree. Now you might be saying, well, how does this script know that those are the areas that we're going to be teleporting to? And that's the glory of it. It doesn't have a clue. I wrote functions in order to pass this string bridge to the tele function here. Now we'll scroll down and we'll look at the tele function. Further down here, tele is a function that accepts a parameter called location. When I call the tele function, it will pass a location. So in the instance of the first one, tele bridge, what happens is that the tele function receives the word bridge as a string. I shouldn't even say word. It receives the string bridge. And now the tooltip changes and it will say heading to location, which is bridge. It will sleep. It sends input, which is V. V will display the area's screen. It will sleep. And then this part is commented out. You can see that it's because it's gray and it has a semicolon in the first one. So this message box never actually fires. That's there for debugging purposes in case things are going wrong. Here we click and then it's percent to start interpreting this next portion as a as function or as literal. I'm not exactly sure of the terminology for that, but there are two ways to do two things with AutoHotkey. You can either tell your script something like send input hello, and that will send the word. Oh, sorry about that. Hello. And that will send capital Hello as a string, right? Or we could declare a variable X, and that variable could be equivalent to the string hello, and then we could send input and use the percent signs around the letter X, and that will send that variable. Or we could do it this way, input, and we could do percent space X. The difference between the two of these really is there isn't one except that if I do send input percent X and I can type hello, what we'll get here is the word hello twice. And if I do that down here, what I'll get is an error because it's going to try and interpret this as another variable, but it won't find anything. If I do x dot space hello, the dot, the period there is to concatenate, we're not going to get anything. It's still going to error out. What I need to do now is enclose all of my literals in quotes. All right, but anyways, back to what this script is doing. So send input hello. It doesn't do that. That's not a thing that it actually does. What it's doing is it's passing and it's getting this LB area location here. And LB area location is calling upon the array, the LB area array, which is up here. So LB area array, what we have is our first favorite is listed here, cursed Coco. And what these are they are actually just screen coordinates that we're grabbing. So it's just as simple as opening up the Windows Spy application that comes with AutoHotkey, and it looks a lot like this. And so what we're doing here is our first favorite is 1296.282. And I'm going to go back to the game real quick. And I'm going to hit V. I'm just going to show you that 1296.282. If you look at that middle portion where it says mouse position, 1296.282, let's see, is right about pretty close to here. Okay. So you can see 1301.280 under window. We are using the window coordinate mode. And so we are going to get when it teleports or when we call tele to bridge, what we're actually getting, or even cursed Coco or first favorite, what we're getting is a click command that's going to click on our first favorite, which is 1296.282, and that's being passed by this function. So tele to the function, and then the name of the location here is passed by this array back to, or sorry, by the function, then calls the correct key out of the array to return the value, as the array is a key value pair, and then it clicks on this location here so that I can do this indefinitely, and I can program additional locations into my tele location function. All right, so this is a little bit beyond the click command, and it's definitely a little bit more to understand. So I think I'm going to split this one into two videos. So if you'd like to learn more about this script, about how we are killing bosses with AutoHotkey, go ahead and leave a comment on this video, like, subscribe, and visit me back in part 2. Thanks for watching.